Welcome to Learn Piano, a personal practice. My name is Cynthia of Cynthia Ali Studios, a place where you can learn and find your joy in music. Today we're talking about a very important piano skill that you should learn. This is sight reading. Sight reading is the skill of reading music before you've practiced the piece or even played it before. It's not about perfectionism, but it's about how you are able to read the music ahead of time and then play it to your best ability. It trains your eyes, your ears, and your hands to communicate instantly, like learning how to speak fluently in the music language. I'd like to remind you that tomorrow, October 28th, Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Time, we'll be doing an 8-week session of Christmas music. This will be a half-hour class held on Zoom. So if this interests you, you could go to cynthiaalistudios.com/piano community to sign up. This will help you prepare Christmas music that you can play for yourself and enjoy, and also you can share during the holidays with your friends and family. Another thing that you might be interested in is that we just had a 1-hour class about chords made simple. This is a 1-hour shortcut to learning how to play the piano with chords. This course is now available, and you could find this also at cynthiaalistudios.com/piano community. You will get a 1-hour video that you can go through and a workbook to help you learn how to play music with chords. You'll learn the 12 major chords plus their variations, and then how to make them into chord progressions that you could use in your own music. And if you're the type of person that likes to compose, it gives you a pathway into that. Or you could also use these chords to play songs with lead sheets. Or just for fun, you can play chord progressions and it sounds like you really know how to play the piano. Like you could do this chord progression and make a little song. So if that's something that you're interested in learning, please check out that class on cynthiaalistudios.com/piano community. Now today, I want to give you some tips on how to learn how to sight read better. We'd all like to be able to just sit down at the piano and play a song start to finish without any mistakes. Now that is a skill that would really take a lot of work, but if you can learn how to sight read, this will help you to be able to learn those songs that you're working on much quicker. I have an example of how you can learn how to sight read much quicker. During the pandemic, I was in an online music group where the host had us do a sight reading challenge each time that we met. This was really fun. The host would put up one piece of music and then he'd say, "Who wants to take the challenge?" And we'd get, I believe it was 30 seconds to a minute that we'd be able to look over the music so that we would know what to do when we're playing. And then the object of this challenge was to play through the piece without a mistake. Super fun way to do it. I'm going to go through what you need to look for in the music. First of all, when that piece of music came up, I would start looking at what is the key signature. Is there 1 sharp, 2 flats, or no flats or sharps at all? Then next I will look at what is the time signature. Is it in 3/4, 4/4, 2/4, Or perhaps it's even a mixture, like halfway through the piece, it might go from 3/4 to 4/4, or it might go back to 3/4 at the end. So I'm scanning this quickly, and in this challenge that I did, 30 seconds to a minute. So in that short amount of time, I would have to quickly look. And then what is the tempo marking at the beginning? Slow, moderato, fast, presto, what is that? Then next I would go through top to bottom quickly. Are there any accidentals that are not in the key signature? Next, look for rhythm challenges. Are there dotted notes that I'm unfamiliar with their patterns? Are there syncopations? Are there passages with fast moving notes? And then the other things I would quickly scan for are articulations. Are there slurs, staccatos? What kinds of things are happening, like accents? And then, of course, we need to know our fingering. Are there any fingerings that are going to mess us up? Anything out of the usual? And then pedal markings. There are so many things you can quickly scan for. Also, patterns. Are there any repeated patterns of chords? Like if you have a broken chord and it keeps going the same thing, then that would help you. Okay, I know that chord and I can quickly just repeat that pattern when I'm doing my sight reading. Then just note difficulties. Are there notes with ledger lines that I'm not sure of? Ones that are like below middle C, above middle C, or ones that are very low on the keyboard? Are there notes that I quickly need to figure out? And also instructions like dynamics, softs, louds. Are there anything in there like retardandos, maybe repeats, codas, things like that? So that's a whole list of things in my own mind that I would quickly scan that piece. And I could do that in about a minute if I had to. I could quickly look through that. And then I would sit back for a second, take a couple deep breaths, and then really focus my mind when I had to start playing that piece to only think about the music. Don't think about when is this going to be done? When am I going to go to the store? Like things like that. Just only let your mind think about the music. So that's a little guide for you, a challenge that you could try. I'm going to do that with you right now. I have picked a piece. I have never played it before. I just grabbed a Mozart piece that was public domain, and I'm going to go through it with you. I'm going to put on my timer for 1 minute. I'll give myself a full minute instead of 30 seconds. And I'm going to talk through with you what I would look for when I'm going to play this, and then I'll try my best to sight read. Now, sight reading, I may make a few mistakes because I've never seen it before, but I'm going to do my best to get as close to correct as possible. All right, so let's try this. This is a Mozart piece, and this is the Allegretto movement. Okay, I'm going to push my timer here for 1 minute. So I'm looking, I see the beginning, I have 1 flat. It's Allegretto, which is 104 per quarter note. I am seeing meter is 2/4. I've got staccatos coming in. I need to remember that B flat. There's some ledger lines that I need to figure out where do those notes place. Then I have passages of 16th notes. I see those are loud. And then I have some that are echoing with a soft. Then there's a marking for a crescendo. Now, I'm looking at the fingerings, if anything looks unusual. I see a clef change. I'm starting out with the right hand treble reading, and then right before the end, the bass clef turns into treble clef. So that really could mess me up if I don't pay attention to that. I've got about 10 seconds left. And then there's a passage where notes move on both hands. So I'm just looking through that for any kind of accidental. Okay, now I'm at a minute. So I'm going to play that and we'll see what happens. And there's my try. So now I noticed I had a couple hesitations. I made a mistake in the first measure, And then also at the end, I had to slow down a bit because there are a lot of accidentals in there and that kind of threw me off. But hey, I did pretty good. I got the main gist of it. It's helpful to just try to keep that rhythm going. Even if you make a mistake, just keep on going. So that is one example. Then I thought I could do another one just to get the idea of it. I'm going to do another Mozart piece, and I'm just going to do a section of that one. This one. All right, let me set my timer again for 1 minute. Okay, talking it through, I'm looking at the top. It has 1 flat, so key of F. It has 3 beats a measure. This one has a lot of runs, so there are scales in there that I already know the F scale, so I can play the F going up, and then there are some third intervals coming down. As I go up, I'm supposed to increase, and coming down, I'm supposed to decrescendo. There are a few forzados, and then the left hand starts another scale, but this time it has an E flat on the bottom and then a natural on the top. Now I have a section with some staccatos. How are the fingerings? There is a trill, so I need to make sure I have the trill with the grace note. And then it goes back into another scale, which is the F scale with that 1 B flat. It looks like a pattern, so I have the same thing going on here as in that first section. And it repeats again on the last line. So they could have just put a repeat in there for that, and it would be the same thing. So that's good to know. Okay, I'm at a minute, and I did not get to the end, so I'll have to scan that just super quick. I got it, and now I'm going to go. Alright, so for that one, I'll tell you how I feel about it. The scale going up was fine, and then at the top there was some awkward fingering in the interval, so I had a hesitation in there. Notes were pretty alright. The other thing I noticed is that the sound with that A flat coming into the F scale, it's like it's changing key for a second. That threw me off. It doesn't sound right, but it is right. And then the ending, there's a lot happening, and I did a couple hesitations. So that's fine. That's how you start out. When you have never played this song before, you're apt to make a few mistakes. No big deal. At least I read through it ahead, did the sight reading tips, saw some patterns, fingerings, different dynamics. So that just will help you be able to play better. Now, if I practice this, I've already studied it out and I have a little jump start. So just 1 minute of looking it over and then another couple minutes playing it through, that should set you really well for being able to practice this piece. As time goes, some people are really good at sight reading. They could have probably played that without any mistakes. For me, I'm the type that I need to practice, and that's fine. That's how I am. If it's super easy, I can sight read no problem, but these pieces, these Mozart pieces, I would have to practice. All right, so now that you have that idea of how to sight read, I just want to talk about a couple ways of reading the music as you're going through. So when you are playing, you don't want to get stuck right where you're at. You want to use your eyes and look across to the next measure or two as you're playing, just to get ready. So if you're too center focused right at the note you're on, you're gonna miss out on what's happening, and you want to be able to move ahead. Like scanning ahead would be a good way of thinking it. Now there is an exception for that. If you have a place like in the end of this Mozart, you have one note changing on every 16th, so it goes like this. So it's just changing every single time. So you don't have like holds on the left hand or pauses. You're just going. So when you have something like that, for me, I don't scan ahead. I just focus in. So I see like notes that are parallel to each other, top to bottom. I will just focus right in on those two notes, right and left hand. And I normally read left hand and then right hand. So I would read left to right, but I would be playing them together. Then I read left to right to the next note, left to right, left to right, left to right, and then I just keep going like that instead of scanning ahead. For me, I get overwhelmed. If I see tons of notes, my eyes will start to blur, so I tell myself, back up and just read them like a column from bottom to top, and that helps me out a lot. So that's a little trick that you could use while you're learning to sight read. So when you're doing sight reading, it can be very discouraging. You heard me, I made a few mistakes, a few hesitations. You could get down on yourself and say, oh, what is even the use to play this? I might as well give up because I'm not perfect. Well, we are not aiming for perfect. We're aiming for enjoying music, and the way that we are able to enjoy music is to build our skills. So this is just a skill building practice. We want to encourage ourselves. Good job for trying it. That's how I feel. I played mistakes in front of you guys. How do you think I feel? I'm just telling myself this is a learning moment. I'm sharing my process, and this is a good thing. So each time that you are doing this, you're building your visual memory, how things look when they're like stacked up on top of each other, or if you have runs or scales that you're doing, you're going to start recognizing that. Pattern recognition, like I said, chords, broken chords in the left hand, maybe some staccato patterns, you're going to start to notice that. And then how the rhythms look on the page. These are all super important. So don't measure your success by accuracy or perfection, but measure it by how you are improving and how this is moving you forward in your piano skills. I wanted to give you a practical way for you to improve your sight reading. If you go to pianoadventures.com, these are books by Faber. I use the Faber method in my piano teaching, and they have some excellent sight reading books. So you can go and look at what level you're at. So I'm just going to list off a few that I'm at their site right now. I'm going to look at some. So if you are an adult learning, you could go and get the Accelerated Book 1 sight reading book for older beginners, and that would match up nicely with the level 1 in their method book. And then once you get through level 1, you could go into level 2. They also have another one that's artistic series, preparatory sight reading. I would say try those maybe after you did the older beginner, and then the other is the developing artist. If you feel like you really need to start at the very, very, very beginning, you could do the sight reading books that are primer level. Those are usually the children's books that are used, but you can go ahead and use them if you need a very, very early sight reading book. So for those, I have a primer level, level 1, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, 4, and a 5. So I just wanted to give you a way that you can very easily start sight reading by tomorrow. If you order it, Amazon, you could get it tomorrow. Anyway, I hope that you try some sight reading and see if you can tell how it benefits your piano playing. Before we end this podcast today, I just want to tell you what's happening next Monday. I will be talking about how to play by ear. So that's another skill that you can learn to enhance your piano playing. The podcasts are released every Monday, and if you would like to be included on getting notification, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and the link to that is in the show notes. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast so you can listen every Monday as new episodes are released. I hope to see you tomorrow as we begin our 8-week Christmas music session. Find all the details at cynthiaalistudios.com/piano community. Thank you for joining me today on Learn Piano, a Personal Practice. Until next time, keep practicing the piano and enjoying music.